Evilspeak. It stars Clint Howard. He used to be in Gentle Ben. He's also the brother of movie director Ron Howard. Now, this is out on DVD. I just haven't got round to getting it yet. Now, if you get the US DVD of this, it's uncut, but there's some dialogue scenes missing. The UK DVD's got extra dialogue scenes in. It's a special 2-disc edition, so I'd recommend the UK DVD. It's about some poor young lad, as I say, played by Clint Howard, who he goes to a military academy and he's picked on quite badly by the other cadets. Well, he comes across this evil computer program or something which shows him how to get revenge on the other cadets and stuff. It's okay, I guess. It's a bit stupid though, and it's got like late 70s, early 80s sort of like video special effects for the computers. It's not that brilliant, but it's worth a watch. Yes. Faces of Death. Notorious shockumentary. Well, it's meant to be a documentary about death, but in actuality it's just, you know, a collection of gory videos and faked footage strung together trying to gross out the viewer. The guy that's presenting it's actually an actor. But, I don't really recommend this. It's got lots of nasty, yucky sort of house footage and stuff like that. It's really meant to gross out the viewer, to be honest with you. UK disc is actually cut slightly. US disc is uncut. I would recommend the US disc anyway. It's got better extras on, but yeah, it depends whether you like gross out films or not. Next one is Fight for Your Life. Bunch of criminals on the run from the law hold up at a house and terror. It's occupied by a black minister who they proceed to racially abuse and terrorise his family. Comes across as a rather violent episode of Love Thy Neighbour, if you ask me. There's some dialogue which I actually found hilarious, which I won't repeat on here, but it's very politically incorrect. I mean, the guy William Sanderson, who was one of the lead actors, I believe he's in Blade Runner as well, comes out with absolutely howlers when it comes to racist abuse, but again, I won't repeat those in polite company. Needless to say that the black minister gets his revenge in the end, so yeah, it's, I don't know, worth a watch, I suppose. Right, Forest of Fear, or Toxic Zombies. Again, I don't think this has got a legitimate DVD release anywhere. I think there might be a grey market label release of this out in the US somewhere. It's of poor quality, but this has got John Amplas, who was in some of the George Romero's films. FBI spray this marijuana crop with this experimental weed killer, and it turns all the hippies who were farming it into these blood-crazed zombies. Unintentionally hilarious. It's a very stupid film. Okay, I think it'd probably pass uncut now, but probably doesn't all have to stick with this version. Right, this is a film Frozen Scream. Now, the only place this is available anywhere on DVD is in Germany. It's basically about this scientist who can bring the dead back to life, and they keep coming after this woman. It's not a particularly good film. I think it was the fact that there's hypodermic syringes getting stabbed in people's eyes that brought it to the attention. It's not particularly gory, and it's a bit boring, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if this is going to be coming out in the US or the UK anytime soon, but again, I think the German disc is the only way you can see this, but it's not that good a movie. Tobe Hooper again, The Funhouse. About two girls getting locked in a carnival freak show at night and falling prey to some of the bizarre freaks within. It's, I'm not sure why this one was included on the list. I did hear that the government mistook it for the film, what was that movie? Yeah, that was it. I believe the government mistook it for the film Last House on Dead End Street, which was also known as The Funhouse. This one was dropped from the list and not prosecuted. It's, again, it's sort of okay, as a Tobe Hooper film. Not that brilliant. Right, Gestapo's Last Orgy, another one about fictionalised Nazi atrocities. This one's uncut, it's from Exploitation Digital again, but it's a composite print. The quality goes a bit off at the end, but it's the only way you can see this uncut on DVD anywhere. Again, it's about, you know, the Nazis doing unsavoury stuff to, you know, female POWs. I can see why this one got included on the list. There's people being dunked in acid, although that probably sounds gorier than it is. you know, or women being, you know, humiliated and sexually abused and stuff. It's, I don't know. It's just cheesy and crap, if you ask me, though. I wouldn't really recommend it, to be honest with you. The House by the Cemetery. This was another Lucio Fulci zombie film. One of three, actually, the other one being Zombie Flesh Eaters, which we'll talk about later. Strangely, though, is he did another zombie film, City of the Living Dead. That wasn't included on the list, bizarrely, but anyway. This one's got Catherine McCall in it again, who was in The Beyond, and her and her husband, played by Paolo Malco's another Fulci regular. They rent this house, which turns out has this Frankenstein monster sort of thing living in the basement that they don't find out about till the end of the film. Lots of gory decapitations, people getting stabbed through the back of the head and stuff. This is the European disc, which is arguably by what is it? Yeah, EC Entertainment, which is arguably the best version to go for. It's got an old interview with the director and stuff on there. I believe the US disc just got a trailer on, but this one's got an old interview with him at Eurofest, I think it is. I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, if you're into Fulci films, that one comes highly recommended. Lots of nice gore in there. House on the Edge of the Park. This was an Italian remake of Last House on the Left, and it's got David Hess in again, who was also in that film. This probably got included on because it's got the same cast, and it's based on the same idea as Last House on the Left, which is another film in the list, which we'll talk about shortly. It's John Morgan's also in it, who was in Cannibal Ferox that I mentioned earlier. He, as I say, he's a couple of delinquents crash this yuppie party, and when the yuppies start taking the piss out of them, they decide to have some fun by torturing them and humiliating them and raping the women and stuff. It's directed by Ruggero Deodato, who did Cannibal Holocaust. It's also got Lorraine Desselle in from Cannibal Ferox, so with a cast and crew like that, you sort of know what to expect. But I don't know, it's sort of an okay film. But the end scene where he gets shot is all done in graphic slow-mo, and you can actually grow a beard whilst you're waiting for it to end. So it's up to you. I mean, it makes a nice companion piece with Last House on the Left. I'd recommend the US disc. This is the European one by EC Entertainment. It's bare bones discs. The US one's got well, I'm not sure what it's got. It's got a trailer on and some other bits and bobs, so I'll go for that one. But yeah, the UK version of that I would not recommend at all. It's got like about 12 minutes or something, 12-15 minutes cut out of it, so there's nothing worth, getting it for. So as they go for the US European one. Well, this is another one that's not out on DVD anywhere yet. This stars Elk Summer, who you probably know was in Carry On Behind, amongst other films. I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses. This was apparently based on a real-life story about the trial of some businessman who was accused of killing his wife. Most of the part, it's I don't really know what this was included on the list, really. It's not particularly a gory film, apart from the opening murder, where you see her getting bludgeoned on the head, but it's about most of the film's about this businessman and his trial where he's accused of killing his wife, and the rest of the story plays out in a series of flashbacks. Apparently she was a bit of a money grabber, and he was looking at divorcing her, and then she gets killed, and most of the film surrounding his trial, it's, I don't know, to be honest with you, it's another one, if it wasn't on the list I wouldn't bother with it, but it's not really that good. This is by Dario Argento, Italian director Inferno. This is one of his Three Mothers films, I believe. This is a pretty good one. It's a woman lives in this apartment block, realises there's something not quite right with it. It's got Dario Nicolodi in, who's in a lot of Argento films, and yeah, I think this one was. It's been released in the UK, but they've cut a scene out of a cat eating a mouse because, again, they thought that was in breach of the cruelty to animals. But doesn't that go on in real life? But anyway, very good film, quite gory in places.